Who Cloned the President? Chapter 7. Hey, thanks, Mr. President. Marshall folded the paper and put it in his pocket. Casey stared at the president. Now, she didn't know who was the president and who was the clone. If she helped the wrong one, who knew what would happen? Feeling panicky, Casey studied the two lookalikes. The man in the blue suit was right-handed, but Casey knew the real president was left-handed. "What's wrong, Casey?" Marshall said. "You look like you swallowed a spider." Casey shook her head. "No, but I just thought of something." She smiled up at the president. "Sir, I need you to go back to the other room." "Why?" the president asked. He looked confused. "To buy us some time," she explained. "If anybody looks in, they'll know you're not there. But if you stuff pillows under the covers, they'll think you're in bed." The president hesitated, then said, "Good idea. I'll be right back." Casey watched him leave the room. When he was gone, she grabbed Marshall. "Follow him," she whispered. "As soon as he goes into that room, lock the door." Marshall's mouth fell open. "Huh? But why, Casey?" "Because he's the clone." Then she pointed to the man tied to the chair. "This is the real president." The man in the chair mumbled behind his gag, nodding his head furiously. "Now go!" Casey shoved Marshall out the door. Marshall gave Casey a look, but he hurried down the dark hall. Casey gently removed the tape from the struggling man's mouth. "Water!" he gasped. Casey looked around the room. There was no water. But she grabbed a can of soda and held it to the man's lips. After he took a few gulps, Casey put the can down. Even in his pajamas and robe, the man looked exactly like the president. But so did the other man. If she was wrong, she was making a terrible mistake. Then Casey had an idea. "How did you earn money to help your family?" "I sold eggs to our neighbors," he said. "How many brothers and sisters do you have?" The man grinned. "There's Patricia, Trudy, Tommy, Roger, and the baby is Edward. That makes 5. Anyone might note that," Casey realized. "How many merit badges did you earn in the Scouts?" she asked. The man blinked. "That was a long time ago. 12. Why?" Just then Marshall rushed back into the room. "He's locked in," he said. "I hope you're right about which one is which." "Marshall, don't worry. This is the real President Thornton," Casey said, grinning. "Excuse me," the president said, "but could you untie me?" "Oops, sorry, sir." Casey took out her knife and cut the ropes. "Thanks." The president stood up, rubbed his hands and ankles. "I expected the FBI or CIA, but you two look a little young for agents," he said. "Who are you? And what are you doing in the White House in the middle of the night?" Casey and Marshall introduced themselves and explained again. The president laughed. "My mother always told me being left-handed would make me stand out." Marshall pulled the folded paper out of his pocket. He looked at the clone's signature, then ripped it to pieces. He picked up another piece of paper. "Sir, can I please have your autograph?" he asked the real president. "Sure, but can it wait? We need to get out of here." He glanced around the room. "Casey, did I hear you say something about your mother's apartment? Could we go there?" Casey nodded. "Won't Mom be surprised when she sees who I brought home?" The president led Casey and Marshall down the corridor, his slippers flip-flopping on the hard floor. He took them back to the kitchen and stopped in front of the freezer. "We're going into the freezer?" Marshall said. The president smiled. "This one is special," he said. He twirled the combination lock a few times. The door popped open, and suddenly Casey heard voices. "Sir, someone's coming," she hissed to the president. End of chapter 7.